Most native plants don't fail after you plant them, but rather before. Maybe you've got an area that you are dreaming of turning into a wildlife meadow. You're looking at species, you're picking out plugs, but you have failed to first understand the location and prepare your site. In this video, I'm going to talk about site selection, understanding your location, and getting a good blank slate before you put those plants in the ground. Can you name this bird on my hat? If you can, drop it in a comment down below. Step one is going to be clearing the existing vegetation, especially if it is turf grass. Turf grass, once established, sends out runners, is a connected network that has access to nutrients, and you're going to be putting a tiny little small plant into competing with all of this. That's not going to work. So how can you clear out an area like this to start introducing native plants? Well, the first way is sheet mulching. I prepared this native planting right here using sheet mulching, which is taking cardboard. You want clean cardboard, brown, no tape, none of that glossy printed on stuff that you may get like a big screen TV in. You want the nice boring brown cardboard. Layer that, make sure you've got good overlap so you don't get anything creeping out. You want a nice solid blanket of cardboard, and then you top it with wood chips. And for your wood chips, you want a good arborist mulch, none of that dyed mulch that you might get at a big box store or a landscaping supply. You want nice chips that are just, wood, nothing else. Put down a good thick layer. It'll break down and decompose, and it'll help hold the cardboard and smother everything below it. You want to get that done in advance. Now, you could do that this year and cut some holes and do some selective plantings, but don't rush your site preparation. I have done this where I didn't fully clean out all the invasives, so just the other things that might be competing with my native plants, and then you spend years fighting around them, trying to work around removing them around your native plants that you've done. So the more time that you can take to get a blank slate with any method is going to be better. So let me talk about my next method, and that is solarization. So right here I have a big black piece of plastic. This is a silage tarp, so this is an expensive piece of plastic designed to do this. It's a little bit thicker, more durable, so it's going to last for many years. This one is a 40 by 50. I bought it to kill off multiple different sections of my property year by year. This is kind of doubled and quadrupled up right now to make it much smaller, but you lay it down, make sure you weigh it down with sandbags or logs or bricks or something. You don't want it blowing away in the wind. And once the sun is out, right now we're in April, it's nice and toasty, everything below is just being cooked, making a nice stale seed bed. This is going to be for a vegetable garden, but I've done the same thing for native plantings. One good thing that you could do is once you kill off everything, if there's a rain coming, pull it back, let the rain happen, maybe scuff it up a little bit just to bring that seed bed to the top so those seeds then can germinate, then cover it back up again to make sure that you're getting a good, clean, kill in blank slate. But sometimes you can't cover and smother the existing vegetation and you have to do some manual removal. Right now I'm walking through a woodland area that I have planted with all sorts of awesome native plants. This area used to be covered in honeysuckle. We had to manually cut out all of that honeysuckle. And then we had to apply some herbicide to ensure that it wouldn't grow back. That is my final way of dealing with making a blank slate, but it's not for everybody. Herbicides are a type of pesticide, a chemical substance designed to kill. They need to be treated with a whole lot of respect. And I think for most residential properties, if you've got a, your standard suburban or inner city home, you're probably not going to need to use an herbicide. But if you are doing a larger scale planting or have some particularly difficult plants to deal with, you may need to use a targeted application of herbicide. If you see any of the brown behind me, that is all Star of Bethlehem. This area right here is an area that I'm managing, that I'm trying to kill off any of the invasive plants that I'll then be putting natives in. It's over 1,000 square feet and was filled with Star of Bethlehem. Star of Bethlehem has a bulb that if you try to dig it up and you miss one, it's gonna come back. They divide, they flower out, they seed, they spread, they crowd out everything. Very, very hard to get rid of. If it was a small isolated area, I have some that pop up near my house, I just dig them out and dig a wide enough circle, dig down deep, get everything out. But something like this, digging out 1,000 square feet to remove all those bulbs, it's not practical. I decided to use a very targeted, picked the right herbicide for the job, and it's working. May not be for you, but in the right instance, I think you can use a herbicide for a short-term impact to then bring in native plants, which are going to have a overall net benefit to your property and the ecosystem around you. And then once you're well on your way to having a blank slate, it's time to understand your location. What is your sun? Is it a full sun area, partial or full shade? What's the moisture? Does it stay constantly damp? Is it super, super dry? Does it fluctuate in between throughout the year? What's the soil structure? Heavy clay? Is it silty? A lot of loam? How does water percolate through it? What's the pH? Now, a lot of these things you may be asking, I don't know what those words are. If you don't know, drop a comment down below. I will happily respond to you, and if there's enough where I can dive into each of those topics in a video. But you want to match the plant to the location. The whole beautiful thing about natives is that once they're established, they're going to fend for themselves. So you don't want to put in a plant that doesn't want to be there, that you're going to have to constantly baby and maybe water all the time and add in inputs to keep it alive. Once it's established, it should fend for itself. But that's the thing, once it's established, you are going to have to water that plant in the first year, just to make sure. You know, it just came out of a small little pot. Its roots aren't that big. It needs time to reach down in there and get its roots where it's going to be pulling up water constantly. So you're going to need to water it. You're going to make sure that you've got good plant spacing. Figure out, you know, all these plants you're putting in, how big are they ultimately going to be? You want a little bit of competition for prairie plants. They like that, but you don't want them overcrowded, and you don't want them so sparsely spread out that it's going to leave open patches that weeds are going to blow in there, and you're going to be fighting those. So think about your spacing. Height requirements. How big are these plants going to get? How tall? Are they going to shade out something else that you're planting right next to it? Think about that. So it's not just setting it in the ground and then walking away. You're going to need to do a little bit of work of getting it established in that first year. Now, in nature, you don't see plants just being spaced randomly in bare ground. Typically what happens is that first there is disturbance. A tree falls and opens up a spot in the canopy. A fire moves through an area and clears it out. Then it creates a blank spot, an opportunity for plants to move in. That is what you are recreating. You're changing what is currently there, the vegetation, to allow for an opportunity for plants to come in. Plants that should be there, that you are making sure that are going to go in the right spot at the right time, and you're going to care for them your first year. You're nudging nature along, helping fix some of the things that we have done wrong, like removing all the invasive plants. I'm surrounded by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different species of invasive plants, and if I direct my gaze that way a little bit farther, I could probably find another 5. So those are my tips for establishing a native planting. Don't rush it. Take time for site prep. Understand your area and pick the right plants. If you don't know, ask. Ask me or find a professional expert in your area. And good grief, Goose! I'm trying to film a YouTube video. Goose! Well, my name is Tyler Lloyd, and these geese want me to shut up. See you later. Bye.